Welcome, everybody, to episode 84 of Disney with the Ducks. Tonight, you've got me, John Krull, and I'm joined by three of my favorite ducks, Jody.
Hi, friends.
Lonnie G.
Hey, everybody.
And Gene.
Hey, I won't tell Jeff or Kevin that you said that. So
no, let's not. They don't need to know.
Yeah.
It's like I said before, it's like with my kids, right? If two of them are here with me, yeah, are we your favorite? Yeah, sure you are. And then when the other ones are around, yeah, you are too.
Oh, see, you ruined
because they're all the favorites.
But they don't know won't hurt them. It's kind of like that tattoo of the Fonz.
Oh my. All right. Well, tonight, before we get into our episode, we just want to ask everyone, if you have a few minutes, please go out to your podcatcher, give us a review, preferably 5 stars. Anything less than that, probably don't give us a review. But you can message us and tell us what you don't like and why you think we should kick Jeff off.
And send all those messages to Jeff.
Yep, exactly.
For sure.
Why Jeff should be removed from the show. But no, if you could go out and give us a review, it really helps people find us. It helps spread the word. Maybe send it to a couple of friends that you know that love Disney. And come over to Facebook and join our group, Disney with the Ducks. Trying to get some good discussions going over there, talking about upcoming race weekends and who's going to be there, looking at some of the trips that people go on and showing pictures, that type of thing. So bring that, share it, and let some of the rest of the Disney community kind of see what you're up to. All right. So tonight, every week we ask a question to get to know each other a little better and let our listeners get to know us a little better. We're recording mid-September. We're getting up into Halloween season, right? We're going into the fall. There's a lot of really good candies that are specific to the season that come out this month. So tonight's question is candy corn, love it or hate it? Gene, what are your thoughts on candy corn?
Yeah, so it depends. I know that I'm not really answering the question, but
we're not running for politics. This isn't a debate. Just pick.
I do like it. I enjoy it, but only so much. You get to a point where it's like there's that one you kind of you hit the threshold. You have that one more, and it's like, yeah, I'm done. But not for the season, but for that candy corn incident experience at that moment. Make sense?
That does make sense.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I understand. Sometimes you get full, right? I love shrimp.
Not full. It's just you've had enough.
No, too much. Not a good example. I was gonna say I can't hit a point where I've had too much shrimp.
No.
I like strawberries, but after a while, like I just can't do it anymore. Right? I have to switch to another fruit. Mm-hmm. So I get what you're saying. Mm-hmm. All right, Lonnie, what about you? Love it or hate it?
Hate it.
Oh, no way.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why are you the way you are?
I just
trauma, PTSD.
Show me where the candy corn hurt you.
I was in my stomach, right here. It hurt. Yeah, I just don't like it. Yeah, just don't like candy corn. That's not a real candy to me. Just like white chocolate. It's not. It's like white chocolate. It's not real chocolate. You ask any chocolatier and ask them, "Hey, is white chocolate chocolate?" They'll tell you no. Candy corn isn't candy.
It's good. White chocolate's good, but it's not chocolate.
No, I don't like white chocolate either.
Huh. You guys, I'm learning more about you guys, and I'm not liking what I'm learning tonight.
I know. But now the healing can begin.
That's true. That's true. All right, Jody. Love it or hate it?
I am team candy corn. And to make it even better, have you ever had candy corn with dry roasted peanuts? That, my friend, is the best combination. If you like a payday, it's the best thing ever. So I strongly suggest mixing your candy corn with a container of dry roasted peanuts. It's fabulous. That means fall in our house.
Salted or unsalted?
Salted. The dry roasted peanuts salted. Yeah. Gotta have that salted sweet.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. I'm not a fan of the candy pumpkins. Like they've got to be the corns. Wow. I don't like the other shapes. Just the candy corn.
Do you eat one color at a time? Like you bite off the
no, I just mix them up with my dry roasted peanuts and in my mouth. They all go. They're delicious.
I don't eat it.
I actually just wrote down mixed candy corn with dry roasted peanuts because
I'm telling
so
you,
excited about this.
It's delicious. And Lonnie G, you may even like it that way. Do you like paydays?
I can do a payday. Yes.
If you like payday, you should, next time you are offered candy corn, insist that they bring you some dry roasted peanuts too, and try them in the same, marry them together, and you may find a new tolerance of candy corn.
Oh,
do you notice Lonnie's tone when he doesn't like something?
It's very negative.
I may try that. It's a little condescending. I don't know. I'm picking up some elitist vibes with Lonnie tonight. I don't know what the deal is. I'm not saying he's always like that. I'm saying like right now. Maybe always. I don't know. It's up to y'all, the listener, to decide.
Wow. Well, I'm on Team Candy Pumpkin. Jody, I don't know why you don't like those. They're delicious. But I'm also on Team Candy Corn. I like all candies. But I got to try this whole mixing it with the dry roasted peanuts, because I love those too. And that like kind of sweet and salty combo, I think, does sound really good. Now, what if we melt the candy corn and then toss the peanuts in it?
That's too much work. You just open the bag and shove them together and eat them.
Yeah, but that could be
what if you put something spicy in it?
Ooh, that could be good too.
We're just, man, $1 million ideas we're just giving away.
We need to create a cookbook, and it's all really healthy snacks, like candy corn based, and
all from our favorite pies that we've talked about 15 times, and our favorite. Yeah, we'll have everything. Disney with the Ducks,
cooking with the Ducks,
25 pounds with us.
Hey,
the non-diet cookbook.
Oh man, but no, yeah, I love candy corn. I'll eat candy corn all the time. My problem is I can't, once a bag of candy is open, like I can't stop. So I do get past the point of being way too full of candy corn, and then I don't like it for a couple days. But then I find another bag. Oh,
yeah, a man must know his limitations.
Yeah. It's really difficult with candy corn though. Oh, I'm so excited for Halloween. All right. Tonight's episode, though, we're going to...
Hey, before we get into the topic, John, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard, there's a little bit of a hullabaloo, rumor, scuttlebutt, if you will, about a famous podcaster and an even famouser popular singer that maybe, been hanging out lately. And I just want to put this out there. I don't want there to be any secrets amongst us. I just want to make sure that none of you are hanging out with any pop stars, if I want to make sure there's nothing like that going on here. Do you know what I'm talking about? Professional football player. He and his brother have a podcast.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't know they had a podcast.
There's a rumor that he and his, it's hilarious too. There's a rumor that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, he sent a bracelet, the friendship bracelet he made with his phone number, and now the rumor is they're hanging out. I just want to make sure nobody's admitted that, but that's what the rumor is. I just want to make sure none of you are hanging out with anybody that we should know about or anything like that. Just checking.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Why?
No.
No.
I just want to make sure. I mean, it's secrets. They're brothers, and and the public. Our listeners need to know if there's anything like that going on. I'm just asking. You haven't been hanging out with Dave Matthews, have you, Kroll?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I did hang out with Dave King last night from Flogging Molly.
Did you really?
The lead singer, yeah. One of my friends knows one of the guys in the band, and he's always told us this, and I never really believed him. And then at the show last night, he was like, "Hey, let's wait a little bit after the show, and I'll get us backstage." I'm like, "No, you won't." But okay, let's see what happens. So we wait, and then we're standing around. The band guys are out there saying hi to their family because a bunch of them are from Detroit. And then Dennis turns around, looks at my buddy, and goes, "Hey, Andy," and like gives him a big hug. And then he introduced us to whatever, and he's like, "Make sure you just follow him backstage." So we followed their guitar player backstage, and they took us back. It wasn't like a big party though. It wasn't like, going back to Motley Crue's dressing room. I was, most of these guys had their families there and stuff, and we were just kind of there like, there's no other fans here, but yeah, so it was kind of fun.
That's why I asked that question. None of our listeners we wouldn't have known this if I hadn't asked that question.
Well, no,
you were hanging out with a famous.
Yeah, I mean, you guys don't know who he is, but I love him. So
I mean, I've heard of Flogging Molly. I don't listen to Flogging Molly, I don't think. But
it's
I'm
like,
glad to know this.
It mixes my folksy countryside with my punk rock side, and I love it. So, yeah, it was really fun. We went to see them last night. Went out to dinner at the wonderful restaurant in downtown Detroit that was fully gluten-free. Mm-hmm. So if any of your listeners are in the Detroit area, go to the Elephant Room because it's amazing.
Cool.
Okay. So enough about me hanging out with famous rock stars and just the amazing life I live. Tonight's episode, we're going to talk about some tips for your day at Disney World, how you can go about making sure you have an amazing experience and it's the best day ever. So we're going to each give 5, maybe more tips. Depends how well it goes while we're talking, because I'm sure a lot of you guys stole my amazing ideas. That's how it goes. But Lonnie, what's one of your biggest tips for people going to Walt Disney World?
My first one would have to be just consider using a travel agent. I'll tell you why, right? So Disney can be complicated. There are a lot of discounts, things of that nature that always pop up. Use a travel agent. They're free to use. Usually, if you use a one that's actually through Disney, it's the same price as you would if you booked it yourself. But yet, if something comes up, they can apply a discount for you. They can get you set up with some other things. They can, they can't make park reservations and things of that nature, but they can do some other things, right? They can help you get some reservations at some hotels, as well as restaurants. So it's a free service. Why not use it? You're helping a small business, which is good as well. So that's my first tip. Just consider using a travel agent. It's amazing how many people don't use a travel agent, and then they're stuck on a line with Disney when something comes up or have an issue like that. It's good to have somebody in your corner.
Well, and Disney is getting more and more complex. I mean, it is several degrees of complexity, multiple degrees higher than it was even a month ago. It changes every week. So having somebody like that can show you how things work and what systems they're using, what apps you need. That's a really good one. That was on my list too.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. You definitely want to listen to Disney with the Ducks as well, because we are full of tips and tricks. Yeah. But use a travel agent too.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, like you said, you do not want to be on hold forever with Disney IT people or help desk people, because it takes forever. And usually right when you get connected, that's when your cell phone service goes out. So you start all over. That's wonderful. Gene, that is for our audio only listeners. Gene just put on a beautiful chain necklace with a star.
Sweet, with a great big blue and white star on it.
Yeah.
How about the Dallas Cowboys? Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, your Cowboys, I don't know how they're doing today, to be honest, because I watched the Lions game and then I was too upset to do anything else sports related. But what is one of your biggest tips for going to Disney?
Yeah, I mean, so I think it's important if you're going to ride some rides, those rides sometimes can get long. I don't know if you've experienced that before. I have. One of the things that I like to do is make sure I've got some good apps downloaded to play some fun games, because just so everybody's not, if you're going with your kids, you don't want them like this, and you still want to spend quality time. And so like Heads Up or something like that, that's always fun. And then to partner with that is maybe a battery, an external battery to charge your phone with, if you're going to be using it like that. You're going to be using it to make reservations. You're going to be using your phone for different things during the day. Fuel rods are something I've gotten before, and you can swap those out. It used to be free to swap them out. They had several places around Disney. Now it costs money to do that, but you can either do that or buy, from Amazon, Anchor, whatever, some kind of a charger for your phone.
Yeah, that's a really good one, Gene, because everything seems to be going to being done on the app through the phone. Like there's not a whole lot left that's not pre-planned somehow and adjusted on your phone.
I don't know how he does it, but I think Lonnie still does his via Telegram or like his reservations.
Carrier pigeon.
Carrier pigeon. Yeah, carrier pigeon. I just hold my hand out and go, caw, caw, and fly down.
Reservation for 2 Ohana? Question mark?
Yeah. Actually, though, you forgot it. You got to start off. Greetings and salutations. On this good day, this fine day, I would like to request dinner for 2. And then you wrap it around his little leg, and you go, and he takes off and go to Ohana.
Yeah. That's,
sounds like
I
a
mean,
really convenient way to handle a reservation.
That's a long telegram though. Like Lonnie, have you seen Three Amigos? When they're typing the note to the Three Amigos, the reason it got shortened to where they misinterpreted it, they had to take out lines and letters and parts of words. So,
well, I usually get a bird that has, stronger wings so he can fly with a bigger message. I just put a book on there because you got to put the date. You're like, on this day of our good Lord, September 16th, I would like to request, and you do all that. You gotta. I mean, sometimes that'll help you get the reservation. If you just say reservation for 2 or Han and send it back, I mean, they won't even listen to the bird.
No, you're right. They'll think these people don't deserve to be here. We need someone who is going to send us 37 paragraphs to ask for a reservation. It's perfect. Yeah. Okay. Jody, what do you got? What's one of your biggest tips?
Well, Jean, I also had the one that you did is apps in line and some way to stay entertained. But my biggest tip that I think people don't think about is wear comfortable shoes. This is not a time to be pretty, people. This is right. Don't even, I've seen so many people walking around the parks with very pretty people and very pretty outfits, but that has their shoes, their feet have to be screaming at them. No one's looking at your feet. Where are the ugly shoes? And plus you're stepping on all that stuff that everybody else has stepped on. So my tip was to wear comfortable shoes, which I think is an incredibly practical tip, but sometimes people don't think it through. They want to match their outfits or they want to look nice. And now is not the time for that. So wearing comfortable shoes. Now, if you want to go to dinner later that night and you want to go back to your resort and get cleaned up and then put on nicer shoes, great. But please make sure you've worn those shoes around for quite some time and that you're comfortable in them and that they're not going to give you some weird blister or pain that you were not anticipating, because that can make a really bad trip.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You don't want to just jump into 20 miles a day at Disney with brand new shoes. Yeah, absolutely. But that's a runner's perspective too, right? I mean, you learn that pretty quick.
All right, John, what's yours?
So I think the biggest thing for me that I've learned recently is you've got to be prepared to go back and take a nap. Like it just, go at rope drop, be there for the first 4 or 5 hours. But especially if you have kids, but even as an adult, I love going back to the resort, taking a nap for an hour, or just laying and watching TV because it's hot, the sun's beating down on you. And you can get a quick dip in the pool, especially if you're at somewhere that has a cool pool, like beach club or yacht club, somewhere like that. So I think that's my biggest tip is like definitely take advantage of a midday break, especially with kids, because you might want to push through it. And that's what I used to do. And then by the end of the night, everyone's yelling at each other and I don't get to watch Happily Ever After, which makes me very upset. So we found a way around that is the midday nap.
John, I think that's a great tip because, how many times we've been in a park and we see parents yelling at kids who are tired. You know how much I paid for this vacation? Or you talk to somebody and it's like, I came back from Disney and I'll never go back. I was so tired. I need a vacation from Disney. And I tell them, you're doing Disney wrong, right? I know it's a lot of money. You're going there and you think I'm going to see and I'm going to do everything. That's the wrong approach. I think you have it perfectly. Take a nap, go back to your room, enjoy that resort that you're paying for. And it'll fire you up for the afternoon.
Yeah. And I think, people, like you said, you want to do everything. You're paying a lot of money. You want to take advantage of it. But I think us as people who have gone frequently, you learn that lesson over time. And I know for me, it took several years. It was like 4 years of going to Disney regularly before I was finally like, okay, yeah, we come enough that let's take that break. But then we realized we actually get more done and we have more fun. We make more memories, everything, because we're not, like you said, Lonnie, yelling at each other and at the kids and everything else. So, to me, I think it's well worth it just in terms of, value and stuff. Like you said, you pay a lot for it. And I think you get more out of it because then you can stay up for those nighttime shows too.
Yeah.
All right. Lonnie, do you have another tip for us?
Yeah. I'm going to say one tip that you want to consider is stay at a Disney hotel, right? So stay in a bubble. And with that, be honest to a value resort as well. There are large, they're moderates, they're value, they're deluxe. You have all these different choices. Once you get into the bubble, that kind of eliminates some things. You might have to rent a car. One of my tips would be don't rent a car, right? You take advantage of the free transportation that's provided. Another thing staying in the bubble will give you at one of those resorts is sometimes they have, early theme park entry, right? Sometimes they have early access to lightning lanes. I already talked about the complimentary transportation. So stay in the bubble, and I think you'll have a better time than even fighting more traffic driving back and forth outside of the resorts.
Yeah, and that's a good point because I don't know if a lot of people realize. I know I didn't until I saw the numbers. I mean, Disney World is like 43 square miles, something around there, and my whole township is only 36 square miles. So it's insane to think that Disney World is bigger than the city I live in. So it's something people just need to keep in mind, I think, because it's crazy. It's so complex to get around and everything else. So yeah, trying to get off of that every time you want to go have a meal, take a nap, anything. Something fun's going on at Lonnie's.
I think the dog has a squeaky toy. Yeah, that's my guess.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. So yeah, so staying on property, I think, is same thing. Yeah, it's well worth it because of the time to get off of property, get back to your hotel, and then come all the way back again. It's a mess. There's like literal highways involved. It's crazy. All right. Jody, do you have another tip for us?
I do. So my next tip is try to help manage H&H, which are hot and hungry. That can make a good day bad in a nanosecond. So we all know that Walt Disney World is located in Florida. It tends to be hot. So try to manage the heat, whether that means you go to some attractions that are indoor, whether that means you do what our family likes is the neck fans, or if you like those cooling towels that a lot of people like, but we don't care for it because they just keep me wet all day and I don't like them. Whatever you do, try to control the heat because it can get to you and it can get everybody really angry. And then the other part of that is the hangry, which I tend to get. So let's say we have a big meal for breakfast and we're trying to wait for a big meal for dinner. And all of a sudden midday, I don't want a big meal, but I need something and I'm getting a little hangry because I just need a little something to tie me through. Just get the Mickey pretzel or the ice cream bar or whatever it is that you need. Get something to tie you over because next thing you know, you're going to be in line for 30 minutes and you're going to be hungry and your kids are going to be hungry. And now you've got a problem. So whatever you can do to help eliminate those two H's is figure it out, whatever works for your family.
Yeah, Jody, that's a really good tip. I was thinking very similarly to that for my next one too. And I think part of the heat being in Florida, the sun's out, right? Like all the time, especially in the summer. And that's what you want. That's why you go to Florida. Because in Detroit, we have a bunch of snow and down there, you don't have to shovel the sunshine. So that's one of the big things, but the sun can also ruin your trip. It can give you severe sunburn to the point where, it's difficult for you or your kids to even move around and go outside, that type of thing for a few days. So one of the things that for me is bring an umbrella. And, you are not always going to remember to put sunscreen on the kids and that type of thing. But this not only keeps the sun off of them, but also because of that, keeps the temperature down. Like if you're sitting under a big shady tree, you're going to feel a lot better than if you're laying on, a hot concrete patch or something, in a parking lot in the sun. It's just keeping that off of you and in the shade, you're going to feel a lot better. So kind of just to follow up on Jody's, that was my next tip. Gene, what about you?
Yeah, so I like that hangry tip. That's why I try to keep myself hydrated, but also, fueled, just for life, just the day. But along those same lines, I've been to Disney before where we're rushing and we're trying to do everything and we're not taking the time, we're eating, everything is counter service or snacks. But my tip is if you're going to stay well fed, and you're going to use a Disney planner, hey man, spring for some good meals and go and enjoy something. A lot of them are in, really nice resorts. Go somewhere where you haven't been, where you're not staying, where you haven't been before. That's one of those things that, I love going with Lonnie, because he knows so much more about it than I do. And when we've gone as a family, it's cheer and we're rushing. And so it's nice to just take a minute, enjoy a meal, go to a different place than maybe the park that you're at. Maybe that's my tip. It's all about the food.
Yeah. And you can go somewhere and try so many different things. And you can, you can go to,
I know it's a polite pig.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
Lonnie loves it. No, you can go into like Epcot and you can try things from all different countries, like that kind of stuff. Yeah. Give it a go.
Yep.
YOLO.
I didn't know. I never heard of most of the restaurants we talk about in here until I got on this podcast, Now I'm an expert.
Yes.
You are.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Jody, do you have another tip for us?
I do. One of the things that I like to do is get our day bag packed the night before, or at least have the things laid out by the day bag the night before. So I tend to be the one that carries the backpack for the family. So I make sure that we have some backup ponchos and some water bottles. And I just want to make sure that I've got that kind of thought out and prepped before we go to the park. So the next morning I'm not, oh my gosh, where are the ponchos? Where, everything's just kind of ready to go. And we are big water bottle people, bringing our own water bottles, because you can get the free water refills everywhere in the park. So I don't buy waters in the park. I don't even buy water, I like to use the refill stations. So that's one of my tips, is to save yourself a little time and energy in the morning, because now we're trying to pick virtual queues and individual lightning lanes, and that all happens at 7 a.m. So that's a really crazy start to your day. Don't add one more thing of stress to your morning. Get everything kind of laid out and prepared the night before.
Well, especially like people with kids, right? Because we all know children are not the easiest to get moving in the morning sometimes, and get dressed and get diaper bags packed and all of that too. So yeah. Jody, is your family, you seem like an early rising family just because you run at like 4 a.m. all the time. Is the rest of your family, or Tim and the kids, like that as well? Or do you guys like to sleep in?
They can all sleep in, all three of them.
Okay, so it's kind of up to you to get up in the morning and get everyone moving.
It was always amazing when they were little. I was like, how am I the first one up? And then on Sunday mornings, I was the last person ready to go to church. Like, how does this happen? Like, I'm always up before everybody else and the last one ready. So that tends to happen a lot. I'm the first one up and the last one ready. But that's because as the mom, I'm making sure that everybody has all their stuff.
Yeah, especially Tim.
Yes, Tim, I've got to really be careful and make sure that he's got all of his stuff. Yeah.
All right. I think my next tip is really learn to use the Disney app. Everything is done through that now. You get real wait times. You can make reservations. You can look at menus in advance. So you can pick what restaurants you want to go to. They have games through that too, that you can play. So like Gene was mentioning earlier with Heads Up and stuff, it's always fun to have a game to be able to spend some time when you're in line or whatever. So that's my biggest tip or my next tip is making sure you download the app and learn how to use it before you go down there.
I was just going through this with a girlfriend of mine who's heading down there in October, and the app has some tricky things in it. The hamburger marker, you really have to click on that to see some things. Like some things are on the tip board, and some things are on the little map queue icon, and you do need to spend some time getting used to it and figuring your way around it. So I think that's a great tip, John. Like, watch a YouTube video if you have to, but spend a little bit of time getting comfortable with that app, because everything, mobile ordering's on there, virtual queues are on there. Finding the restrooms are on there, wait times are on there. Everything is on that app. And if you're not really comfortable with where things are, you're going to spend tons of time just trying to figure out how to navigate the app.
Yeah, exactly. And that can lead to a lot of frustration. And that's when you start seeing people get like short with cast members and with their family members because they can't figure it out. They don't know where to go. And so, yeah, it's one of those things. It can make your trip so much better. Lonnie, what do you got?
Well, it's John, my next tip kind of goes right in line with what you guys just said and what Jody said. And that's do your research before you go to the park. Don't go to the park blind. Just say, you know what, I'm going to Disney. Let's see what I'm going to do when I get there, right? One of the things I love doing is, we're running down Main Street for the marathon. I like to yell out, "Yeah, we finally made it to Epcot." And everybody, around me starts laughing, right? But it's something I do, but it's one of those things that, know what's in the parks. You hate to see when somebody goes there and they, they want to, go to Magic Kingdom and ride Pandora. No, take some time. You said it, John, when we first started. Disney is getting more complex by the minute, basically, right? So there's so many different things out there that you can research it. Know what's in the parks, right? Know, to Jody's point, to stop the hangry part. Know what restaurants they have in there that you can look at. Say, you know what, we're going to be in Animal Kingdom today. Let me do some research. Oh, okay. There's Centula Cantina. There's Yak and Yeti. I mean, you can go through that and look at some of those things and say, you know what, you can pull the menus online. The app has all the menus for all the different restaurants. So if you have any food allergies or things of that nature, you can identify that on there. And it just helps if you're more prepared, it just helps for a better trip to me. So my tip is do some research, know what's in the park before you get there.
I think that's really important. So I had just heard a story of someone who was just down there, got really frustrated because they didn't know that they couldn't just get in line and stand in line for Tron. So, and that makes sense, right? Every other ride at Magic Kingdom, you can just get in line and stand in line. If you want to wait in line for 3 hours, you can do that, but you can't do that for Tron. You either have to get in the virtual queue or you have to pay an individual lightning lane. They didn't know that, so they weren't prepared for that. And then they got frustrated because they thought they could just go stand in that line, and that wasn't the case. Yeah. So you do have to do a little homework ahead of time. That's really good advice, Lonnie. And it's always changing too. That's the other problem. So
yeah, and that goes,
it changes.
Yeah. It goes back to what Lonnie said about a travel agent. They can keep you up to speed on all that kind of stuff and make sure that you have the latest information. Because I know, like, I work with one of the guys who ran the marathon with us, Ben, for all my trips, just to, like you said, Lonnie, help out a small business, but you also get that expertise that something changes or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I've been working with him on that just because, he sends me all these emails every week of, hey, here's what you should be doing now, 90 days ahead, 60 days ahead, because that stuff, even restaurant reservations, right, has changed over the years. So yeah, it's a great tip. All right, who just went?
Me.
Lonnie.
Okay. All right, Gene, what do you got?
Yeah, so you talked about, Jody, about heat and hungry. I've had the opposite happen where we've gone earlier in the year and we're told by the weatherman, they lie. This is the only profession you can keep your job and be wrong all the time. But I've been, I think 2 different times, maybe we don't learn a lesson, I don't know, where we've had to buy sweatshirts because it was supposed to be warm and it wasn't. And so look at the weather, see what it's supposed to be, depending on what time of the year, earlier in the year, later in the year, it could be cool. Lonnie and I, our first Dopey, we were planning for it, but it was in colder maybe than we even thought it was going to be. It was so cold. And, that, and also it's Florida, so it's going to rain. There's a good chance of rain. So pack a poncho, those little bitty ponchos, you can get them at Walmart. You can get them at, if you don't get them, you can get them at Disney. You can get them from Amazon.
Just check that, make sure they're adult size and not
right. Adult sizes are, yep, midriff.
Or you have the crop top looks good.
I mean, that's kind of shirts I'll wear anyway, so that works out great.
As you should.
No, but I mean, it's important, so have something to carry that kind of stuff. If you've got a sweatshirt, you want to take it off. I always have a backpack, but poncho, water bottle, battery, pack appropriately. But look at the weather. I think it's important, but be prepared for it not to be what you think it might be.
Well, even in the summertime, it could be cajillion degrees outside and you go into a restaurant and they've got the air turned down to -20. And so all of a sudden you're freezing because you just came from the extreme heat to the extreme cold, or, maybe you were a little wet because you just got caught in a rainstorm for a couple of minutes. And so now you're really chilled.
Yep.
So, having an extra layer with you is not a bad plan.
Not a bad plan at all.
Yeah. Am I the only one that when Gene said he brings a backpack, I just pictured him like with a little, he walking down the park saying backpack, backpack, backpack.
That's exactly what I do.
It's a magical backpack. It talks.
Except that's Dora, Lonnie. So
exactly.
That's not a Disney.
Swiper, no swiper.
That's okay though, but that's Gene. He's Gene.
Oh boy. I think that's a good one, Gene. And the
Can
other
you
thing
say
too is,
churro? Sorry.
if you look at the weather for like the last couple of years in the month you're going to, just to make sure that that week isn't like some weird anomaly and then it's going to shift real quick. And just, understand what kind of happens the time of year you're going, because in the summer it's going to rain every day for 20 minutes or so. So be prepared for that. Yep. All right. Sure. Jody, do you have another tip for us?
Well, actually, people have kind of taken all of mine. So I'm between everybody else's answers, the 2 of my 5 were taken. So
okay. I'm gonna say my next big tip is, and spend the money. Like, just do it. And if you love the Happily Ever After show like I do, just get the dessert party tickets and go and have a few drinks, have some desserts, and then guarantee your spot to see it. There's a lot of things like that at Disney that you can do that. The Genie Plus, just spending the money to get that, or the individual lightning lanes. Some of those dining packages that they have to guarantee that you get to see a certain show. Because to me, those are the cool experiences that are really make it worth coming back, right? Because you have so much fun and you attach yourself to these things. And I think, a Disney trip is already very expensive. So at that point, you want to make sure that all that money you spent you get good value for it. Just go for it. And, make sure that if your kid wants to meet a character, get the meal that has that character at it, because that's way better than waiting in line for a half hour just for them to be like, oh, we're going on break, because it's too hot. So that's my next tip. Yeah. Lonnie, do you have another one for us?
Yeah, I got a couple, but my first one I'm gonna talk about is, and it goes back to being a hangry, is booking your dining reservations before you get there. Right, some of the popular restaurants you may want to bring your kids to eat with Cinderella, or see the princesses, and or go see Donald and Mickey and all that kind of stuff. But yet you wait and you get there and you're like, oh, I need to get a reservation here for my kids, and yet it's all booked, right? So 60 days in advance, you can do your dining reservations. Make sure there's a restaurant, when you're doing your research, you say, you know what, I want to have this character experience. Take the time, book your dining reservations in advance, and that'll lead to a seamless or more seamless Disney vacation.
I would also say, if you don't get something that you want, keep an eye out, because now with the 2-hour cancellation window, it appears that many more things are opening day of than they were in the past. Back in the day, it was like you got it 60 days, or actually it was 180 days back then. Can you believe that? We used to make dining reservations 6 months in advance.
No, Jody, you're just making yourself sound older than your 27 years.
Oh, aren't you sweet? But Lonnie, that's a big thing, is, try to get the one that you want, but don't give up if you didn't get it. You may find a reservation for it that day or a couple days before. People change their minds, cancel plans, and different things pop up. So keep looking.
Yeah.
People's plans change, and it used to be you had to cancel by the night before. So I would just stay up really late that night and then start looking for stuff we wanted the next day. Because you see a lot of that or people get multiple reservations and wait to decide which one do we want to go to. And I think Disney's done a good job of trying to stop some of that with like the time windows and everything.
And I think the new update to the dining, have you guys heard about this? So now
the new dining plan?
Yeah, not the dining plan, but there's an update to making your dining reservation. So it used to be, let's say Lonnie really wanted to go to Cinderella's Royal Table for lunch, and he would put that in the app, and it would show nothing is available for lunch. Now it will show it will show you any time available. So there may be something at 7:20 p.m. and he may say, you know what, it's more important for me to go to Cinderella's royal table because I'm dying to see Cinderella than it is for me to go at lunch. So it will show you all the available time windows instead of just what you searched for. So that, I think that new update is going to be really helpful, because you may think, now some of them you really want to go just for breakfast because maybe the characters are there just for breakfast. I get that. But a lot of places, it doesn't matter if you go for lunch or dinner or whatever, so I think that update to the app is a nice update.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, because like you said, I mean, maybe I just want to go to Space 220 and oh shoot, they don't have it at 9 a.m. Now I have to look at noon to 3, and then and you spend so much time doing that. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Gene, do you have any more tips?
I really don't.
Okay.
I'm still in this from Lonnie, but I've used it so many times since I heard him say it. And it's when we talked about planning, but I have this talk with, like now I use this phrase every trip we go on, is that we're going to make some plans. It's important to plan, but there's some things that are not going to work out. And it's inevitable. And so, we're going to pack our patience, and we're going to be flexible, and we're going to roll with it. And we're having a great time. It's about the journey. It's not about getting to Space Mountain. It's great if we do, but if something happens and it's broken, you really, really, really want to ride Ratatouille, and you get on it, and you get to the right before you're going to go in. They tell you it's shut down for the day. Hey, look, don't be mad, even though you've wasted 3 hours in a line or whatever. Roll with it. You just be flexible,
Yeah,
I'm not bitter.
You had fun in line because you played heads up all the time.
I did. Yeah. That's right. It's about the journey,
and you're with your kids, your wife, your friends. You're with somebody. So, I mean, or you're solo.
Journey. It's about the journey. Well, but even if I'm solo, I'm going to make some friends.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great.
True. Jody, you didn't have anything else. Lonnie, you said you had another one still, right?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Okay.
I like to give a hot take each time. Right? So here's my hot take. If you are not experienced, or this is one of your first, second, third trip, maybe consider not park hopping. Right? There's so much to do in the park, and park hopping takes a while if you're not experienced. Right? You're leaving the park, you're going to the bus, you're waiting for the bus, you're going here, you're going there, you got to wait after 2. It's a lot, right? That adds to the complexity. Take your time, enjoy the park you're in. It's better for your wallet as well if you don't park hop. Right? That's usually about $30 a day per person to add the park hopper option. And then look, if you have multiple days, you have to have park hopper every day, right? So if you want to maximize your budget, consider not park hopping and staying in one park. You still could leave, go back home, like John said, and take get a rest, a rest break, hit the pools, and go back to that same original park. But just stay in that one park, take it all in. Don't feel like you're missing out, and park hopping.
I think that's a great tip, Lonnie. I can't tell you how much I regret on some trips purchasing the park hopper because we never used it. We always thought we would, but then I agree, it's kind of a pain. Like you think you're going to do it and you think you want to do it, but it just doesn't work out. So I think that's a great tip, in particular if it's one of your very first times. Just focus on that park, and if you're going to go take a midday break to swim or nap or both, just go back to the park you were at. It's going to feel like a whole new place because you took your break. So, good tip.
And John, would you like me to throw another one out there?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to say, if you're there, consider maybe doing a special event or purchasing a ticket for a special event at the park, like the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, like the Christmas party, even if there's one of those after hours events, right? Usually they're about the same price as a park ticket. So look, Halloween party, you can get in at 4 if you have a ticket. Why not just take sleep in late, enjoy the resort, maybe go to Disney Springs, get you something to eat, and then go to the park at 4. Limited crowds. There are more special things like the Halloween fireworks or the Christmas fireworks or candy, trick-or-treating, hopefully not candy corn. See some of those things, right, that you can only get at that special event. I love the after hours events. I've done them at Epcot, I've done them at Magic Kingdom, and I've done it at Hollywood Studios, and I find that they are fantastic. So consider maybe not running to the park for one day and buying the after hours event ticket and going to that instead.
Yeah.
That's a good tip. Yeah. Because that kind of goes back to like what I was mentioning earlier about paying for the experience, right? You can pay a little bit extra and still have a ton of time in the park, get everything done that you want. And it's way less crowded. Those things are really nice. All right. Do you have any more, Lonnie?
I think, I came with 5. I didn't want to inundate people with a bunch of tips. So I'm just going to give them that 5 and call it a wrap.
Okay. I was going to say, my last tip is really just don't be afraid to try a new restaurant. If the place you want to go doesn't have any reservations available, or for whatever reason you can't go there, just try something else. We found Grand Floridian Cafe just randomly. There was nothing available. We wanted to sit down lunch. So like that popped up. We're like, well, I don't know. Do we really want to do that? And ultimately we went there and it became one of our favorite restaurants. So just things like that, like try something new, or go to, when you're in Animal Kingdom, try something that's not chicken tenders and, or a hamburger, because they have a lot of cool, unique foods over there. So just don't be afraid to try new things. I guess that's it.
Not Rainforest Cafe.
And I did have one quick one, and I hesitate to kind of give this one, but I give it sometimes anyway, is that you're allowed to bring food into the parks, right? So if you go to your room and you order like a, Amazon delivery or something like that nature, if you talk about budget conscious, hey, you order some food there, you want to pack it up and bring it into the parks, some water into the parks. To Jody's point earlier, you can go and get free water there. But if you want to, I'm going to bring me a bottle of water. I'm going to bring me a couple of sandwiches and things of that nature, so I don't have to, pay the $80 for the hot dog. That's an option for you as well, right? So if you're looking at a budget, you want to stay within your budget, that might be something you want to consider as well. Use the delivery services that are there, that's around, that you can get your things, and then just bring some of your stuff into the park.
Yeah.
Now, Gene and I, in one of our trips, we stayed at a Good Neighbor hotel. Don't be the family that goes down to the breakfast with a Ziploc bag and takes everything. And then
why did you do that, Gene?
Behind them, and they're just stuffing all the food in their Ziploc bag.
Gene was just taking food from the buffet and putting it into a Ziploc baggie to take home for later.
The muffins weren't bad. The grits and the eggs were a little weird.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Lonnie, isn't that benefiting you? Because then you have all this delicious food back at your room.
Well, I mean,
was this not Gene?
It was not Gene, and I'm standing in line, and I'm literally, I got my next, and the person, you remember that, Gene? And they just, I came back to the table. You don't remember that? I came back to the table. I said, this person just took literally half a tray and put it in the thing. Now I have to wait for them to bring more stuff.
I'm so disappointed that you haven't reminded me of this lately.
Yeah, I mean, and I was like, and Gene's like, what? I'm like, yeah, and I said, that person right there, and I know there's something pointing at him. I say, that person. That's the one. She literally put like 20. Why would you put Mickey waffles in a Ziploc bag? I mean, they're not going to be good when you get to the park. That's why I was hesitant to share that. Don't be that person. Please don't be that person.
That's a good tip. We could do a whole episode on don't be that person at Disney.
That would be fun.
Yeah, you should add that to the spreadsheet.
I don't know, but maybe people wouldn't like us. Maybe they do some of those things and
or maybe they're like, you know what? They just called me out without knowing me personally, right? You know what I mean? Like
that would be fun.
But they'll be like, I need to fix that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be absent when you guys record that one. I want people to like me.
Well, nobody likes Jeff. Let's have him just read a list.
He can make it into a game, and then no one will like it.
Oh man,
poor Jeff.
He's never gonna miss an episode.
Y'all are just mad because I won.
Oh yeah,
found me.
All right. Any other tips from you guys?
I think that's
okay. I guess the last one for me would be make sure you go over to the Polynesian and get a lapu lapu and just sit and enjoy it. Just sit there with your drink inside a pineapple, sipping on it, and just watching people and seeing the castle in the background. And there's really not many better things in life than that. I mean, I could probably think of 4, maybe 6 at most. But yeah.
So John, you're saying for your tip, get it in the pineapple. Paid a little extra for the pineapple.
Yeah.
Don't get in the glass. Okay.
Right. Especially if it's your first time. But I mean, if you go all the time, like sometimes if I'm just at dinner, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to pay the extra $3 for the pineapple. But sometimes you just want to be that guy that holds a giant pineapple with a drink in it.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Tim's picture holding it up like Simba.
Yeah, great.
All right. Okay, well, if that's all the tips we have, we can get to a much more giggly section of the show. Quacking up with the ducks. It's our favorite. Lonnie, do you have a joke?
I do have a joke. But it's not really a joke, but it's it's a brief joke, but it's a little cheesy.
I don't get it.
Okay. Yeah, Jeff, go ahead and cut that one.
No.
I
mean, just because I don't get it, I might.
I mean, I wanted something that you can actually enjoy as well. So I'm gonna come back to it.
A brief joke that's a little cheesy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, brief joke.
Yeah, like
leave the F off.
Oh, Brie. I keep wanting to. Okay.
That's okay. Go ahead. I'll do another one. Bring me back around. So a brief joke, but it's a little cheesy. Okay. That's okay. I'll come back.
All right.
We record on Sundays. Sundays are always a little sad, but the day before is a Saturday. How about that? Is that good?
That's good.
That's a little better.
Yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, Gene. What?
Yeah, I don't have a joke, but my next door neighbors are so rude. Last night, about 3:00 in the morning, I went to the door and I said, "What is going on?" I said, "We can't sleep." And I said, "Well, that's great because we're having a party. Come on in." Then the cops came and the cops said, "Hey, I'm looking for a man with one eye." I said, "Well, if you'd open the other one, you'd have a better chance of finding him."
Oh boy. Jody.
Yeah, I never want to go after Gene in a stories, never. So mine, I'm trying to stick with the whole fall vibe. Lindsay made some pumpkin cookies today, so I'm in a very fall mood today. But why don't witches like Starbucks coffee? They prefer to brew their own.
Oh.
That is a good one. I like
He's
it.
on his way to Seattle right now. We'll be at the original Starbucks probably tomorrow.
Oh. We're going to Chicago this weekend, and we're going to the one they have on Michigan Avenue. It's like 3-4 stories.
That's gigantic.
Amazing. Yeah. So I took the girls there for Christmas last year, and we went, and they're just so excited. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But we're almost getting to Halloween, right? And so might as well do a ghost joke. Where do stylists stop? Jeff, I gotta fix that. Where do stylish ghosts go shopping?
The boutique.
Yes, a fancy boutique.
Did I get it?
Because they are bougie.
I'm so excited I got it.
Yeah, you did.
That was cute.
Oh man,
bougie. One of the words that your kids love saying.
Right, especially Chelsea, because she always calls herself the bougie one. Oh, okay, she is. I mean, she wears dresses everywhere. But all right. Well, wow. If you stuck with us this long, thank you very much. And if you get a chance, go out and give us a 5-star review and share our episodes with your friends, and come join our Facebook group, Disney with the Ducks. And with that, I'll just say Kwaherini.
Bye, friends.
Bye. Thanks so much.
Peace out.